That's it.
Hello, welcome everybody. It's 12 o'clock. It is Friday, and you're going to see something a little different on the show today. Look we got our nice squares built in because of the world of COVID that we live in now has a social distance, and we don't have to wear the mask this way, so which is nice. So I want to introduce everybody who's on the show today. Of course, Charlie across the way. Say hi to Charlie.
I'm over on this side of the room.
And in our middle, right here, we got Micah Neal. Micah, say hello to everybody.
Morning, everybody. How are you?
Micah is with a group called Tampa Bay Area Cruisers, right? Tampa Bay Area Cruisers?
That's it. T-Bags.
Hold up your shirt, because that's cool, man. He just brought this shirt in. Look at this. He's got new shirts coming. You can almost see the reflection on there, too. Tell everybody about the club you started and what's going on, and introduce yourself so everybody says hi.
So my name is Mike. I live in Tampa. Basically started this little riding group so we could raise some money, do some events, a lot of camping trips. We got a paintball event scheduled, pretty much a little more than just riding. We want to do definitely some rides, but also get some other family events and stuff outside of the riding community.
Which is cool, because look at those. Bring that back up. That's pretty neat. Look at the event you got. You got a paintball event, which is cool because it's not always bikers. It's not always riding somewhere.
Right, right.
And we'll get into a lot of other things you do, but you're doing a Tampa, Daytona, Gainesville ride, feeding the needy, what else is there? Can you see that?
We have the Bikers Care, the Pinwheel Run, which is not hosted by us, but it's just something I shared. It's raising money. That's up in Crystal River. We have a cleanup. So with my dive club, I also do a lot of scuba diving. We adopted a seawall, so we're going to do a cleanup event there. So I just kind of copied the event and pasted it. So therefore, anybody who wants to come and help clean up can ride the bikes out there and help us clean up the seawall.
It's pretty cool. You came out of nowhere. I mean, I know I saw you around, and then all of a sudden I saw this page, and then I see you doing event after event after event, and I'm like, holy crap, you guys are really getting out there riding. Like, you were planning on going to where? Tell me about last night and what happened where you went to.
So yesterday we have the honoring the veterans ride, which is the weekend before. It's November 11th. So yesterday me and a few guys, we basically did a test run to check out all the parks, make sure the parking is available, make sure the park is a good park to go to.
That might explain your nice tan line. Because if you look at your picture, you can see you got a heck of a. Oh, look at your hands.
If you look at my hands, gosh. I mean, I've got and my eyes.
You've done some riding here the last couple days.
We did over 400 miles yesterday, and it was brutal. I mean, it was hot, humid.
Well, yesterday was the hottest day of the year.
It had to have been.
I think it was. They said, Charlie, what was it?
102 index or something like that.
Oh,
yeah, it was definitely hot, very hot.
Charlie, this works out. Look right over your head. It says #1 motorcycle magazine. That's kind of cool.
Right. Yeah, I like that right there.
That's kind of neat how we got this. These boxes are here because of everything. By the way, if you haven't heard, you're watching live right now. 15 minutes ago, they just released. What is it, Charlie? You were just reading about it. Tell us about what happened. What the new announcement
They just sent down a state mandate here in Florida. No more consumption of alcohol at bars, so it looks like they have closed the bars down again.
So they can sell it, but they can't drink it on is that how this works?
Basically, it's back to liquor stores is essential, but bars and stuff, you cannot go in bars. And
so what about, and I guess the next question is going to be, what about the restaurants? You allowed to go in and eat and sit at tables and eat and drink, or... I mean, if
that's
they're not
the compromise, yeah.
Yeah, they kind of left it open.
You got to wear a mask when you go in. Of course, they're going to do the 6-foot disc. I guess you can take your mask off once you're seated.
Seated at the table.
Once you're seated, but now if they're saying
but if you get up, you got to put your mask back on.
But if they're saying you can't sell alcohol, how are you going to sell an alcohol at
You can't go up to the bar.
Oh, okay, so it's a bar.
Yeah, so you can't sit, along and do the bar thing.
Every day something new with this. But they did say, what did we have, 9,000 new cases? But here's the crap that I don't understand. They're saying 9,000 new cases. How many of those are extreme? You know what I mean? They said I could be COVID plus, if I went and tested positive, but I feel the same way I feel now. That's a case. Well, last I heard, more than half of these cases were in the Miami-Dade area.
Yeah,
so
it's weird because like 99% of people who come in contact with COVID virus never even know they have it. There's no symptoms, nothing.
Asymptomatic, is that the new word? Micah, how do you feel about the situation here we're in?
Yeah, it's
the deep breath. The deep breath explains
I don't want to get too deep into it, but yeah, I think it's we've got to obviously take precautions, but I mean, how do you really combat against something that's you really don't? I feel you really don't even know exactly how it can be
I don't think they
transmitted.
do yet, do they? I mean, they say the masks
don't work. The masks do work. N95 masks work. N95 don't work this week. I mean, it's always ever changing. So how do you really keep up with your own personal health when you can't really even rely on what you see online?
And that's it. I'm to the point where I'm going to wear my mask. And listen, it's if you play sports, what happens is when a referee makes a call, they stick with that call, right? I mean, right. I refer it to sports. So, I play hockey. When a referee makes a call, arguing it is a moot point. Put the masks on. Now we got this. Just do what they say and let's get it over with and move on. But I still think there is a herd mentality to it. I think younger, healthy people need to catch it and get over it. I think that's a broad statement, but the older generation needs to try and avoid it. It is that
Correct.
Situation.
And even some testing now, when they're testing, they have the antibodies in it, which shows that they've already had it. So it's,
tough situation.
It's a tough one, very tough.
I mean, it just 15 minutes before the show starts, they just said this, which kind of puts our whole thing we do here back into a holding pattern, because we have rides set up, we have bike nights set up, we have things ready to go. You got lots of stuff. And let's face it, 90% of the things we do go to bars, restaurants, or establishments like that.
Well,
where's that put us now, Charlie?
Let's face it, we already had our first casualty this past Wednesday. Quaker Steak and Lube had to, right at last minute, literally, postpone bike night. They had to cancel bike night, this past Wednesday. While we were literally holding another bike night. I mean, in the middle of holding another bike night Tuesday is when the order came down that everybody had to wear the mask. So we, right in the middle of that.
Yeah, they did that. In Pasco, it was automatic, which was crazy to me. I saw that and I said, wow, usually they say, okay, we made the rule tomorrow at 5 o'clock, blah, blah, blah. They said, effective immediately, masked and everything.
Yep.
So, I mean, what's nice is if you want, Attorney Fran Hosh is a great sponsor of everything we do with Full Throttle Magazine. They have those buffs. They call them the face covers. I'd like to say you use them, Micah, but it doesn't look like you use them that much.
Well, no. Well, not on the motorcycle anyway, no.
I've learned to put it on because, I'm trying not to burn my face. And, I do the idiot Florida thing every year, the Floridian. I try not to step in a pile of red ants, and I try not to get my first sunburn. I already got the first sunburn out of the way, where I blistered, and I was an idiot, so I said, okay, got to have that sunscreen.
Well, you still have the cold in the middle of summer, so you can't forget that one.
Oh, yes, the summer cold.
There's three you have to combat with.
I'm telling you, the summer cold, and then now I always try and stay out of the pile of ants, but it always seems to find and catch me. Do you know what I'm talking about? The red ant pile that you stand around going, oh, look, there's fireworks. Oh, look, my feet hurt. What is that?
At the barbecue, you always get them.
Always.
Well, and then I hate to say this, but what makes it even bigger is the panic attacks that people have. So there's so many people that panic over a little thing, and that makes it even bigger. So, you got people that...
So what you're saying is right now we should, after the show, go get toilet paper.
Right.
Oh, God.
There goes the panic buying again. Yep.
Got to get the toilet paper.
What's going to be next,
And that makes it bigger. And then, I hate to say this, you throw in an election year where every politician's like, what do I do to get reelected?
They're
so
trying,
you've got so many things in this going on.
It is. And you can't blame one thing for another. And you can't, everybody wants to blame
it's all
the president
rolled
for
together.
This. It's like, listen, I don't know what's going on. All I know is that there's this thing that everybody's catching and getting sick on, right? Let's face it. We know that everybody's getting sick on it. They're testing it. Stay healthy, put your masks on, do what they say. Don't fight the system. It's not worth it.
Well, look at us in the studio today. If you notice, we're on split screens. We got the boxes in. We're in the same room, but if you notice, folks, we're
6 feet
far
apart.
apart.
Yeah.
Yep.
We gotta be.
So that's why you got the split screen, and you see it you see major new network do it too.
Unless you just watched Eddie's show, which we did Wednesday.
And
Eddie's show, we all had to wear the
on.
face mask because we were inside a public place. We did the show live, so it was just the first day, so it was like, okay, let's not buck the system right away. Let's put these face masks on and call it what it is.
And we're the only one in the room. Usually we have somebody here, the kind of the director and everything like that. They're not in the room with us, so we're all doing the social distancing thing. And
so in between the Everywhere Eddie show that happens every Wednesday, which happened this Wednesday, we do the Michelle and Tony show. I think we got a graphic for that if he brings that Michelle and Tony show up. So we usually do it live from Quaker. I don't know if that's going to happen live from Quaker, but I do see us at least doing something maybe here live in the studio talking about events coming up, but that's Michelle, one of the Fantastics. We may have her come into the studio and do that on Wednesday night rather than down at Quaker. Again, we're just learning of all this thing that happened right now, so we're going to play crisis control and make that decision as we speak. Micah, what's one of your, I'm going to ask you a random thing. Give me one of your favorite rides to do, either in the area or what's your favorite ride you like setting up in this area so far?
The Brooksville area.
Really?
Heading north of Brooksville, starting on 52 and riding up through. There's a bunch of little roads that wind up, and they're good, curvy, windy roads.
The only town with hills, I think, in the state of Florida.
Claremont has a lot of
Claremont,
hills.
you're right, Claremont.
Leesburg, all those really hills. But yeah, the Brooksville area does have some hills, but it has really good roads, covered roads. Some of them have really good canopies. Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones, is winding up through all those roads.
Have you ever done the loop in Daytona?
No,
The loop? Oh, really?
No,
The loop?
haven't done the loop.
If you like those covered roads, Charlie, we did it a couple last year, right?
Yep.
We took the group of Full Throttle, and there's like 6 or 8 of us, and we went and we did the Daytona loop, which is awesome. You go up to Flagler, and you take a left, and it goes through the swamp area and
The green swamp?
oh, it's awesome. It
I've done the green swamp often, but not necessarily the loop.
The loop is fun. The Daytona loop, and there's signs for it. It's hard not to miss. Go up A1A past Daytona, go past Granada, up, and then you'll see a sign that says Daytona Loop, and just follow it. Yeah, every other bike's doing the same thing. It ends up, where did it throw us out by? By Rossmeyer's, right, Charlie?
Yep.
I think a little bit over there on the Rossmeyer side. And then you can shoot right over there, and it's a good time. Have you been to Daytona a bunch of times, I would imagine?
Yes, many. Both of them.
Oh, yeah?
Biketoberfest and Daytona.
I like
Bike Week.
Biketoberfest better than I like the Bike
I
Week.
absolutely.
Because it's less people.
Bike Week is just a whole entire week of just pandemonium. Biketoberfest is just a one weekend. It's a little more contained.
Have you been to Sturgis?
No.
Oh, and that's coming up.
In discussion of Sturgis right now. It's a 2,400-mile trip. And yeah, so we're in the process of discussing that right now, me and a few guys.
So one of the things, if you pull up our Sturgis, we always got that. We are doing a ride from here, and a lot of people are asking us. And I just put up the registration also. So if you go look this up, it says Full Throttle Ride to Sturgis. Is that what the event's called, Charlie?
Yes.
On Facebook? So if you go to Full Throttle Ride to Sturgis, what we're doing is we're going to set up where we're going to ride to, about 400 miles a day. So it's going to be a ride. If 400 miles, like you just said you did, was a little tough. But we're going to have trailers and an empty open trailer and an enclosed trailer. You keep this up for a while, Rob. You don't have to pull this down. But we're riding to the Buffalo Chip. Now, it's $100 a person, and what that's going to be is help us gas up the trucks. You break down, call us, we'll pick you up. We'll get it on there, jump in the truck. When we get to our destination that night, we'll get your bike worked on and try and get fixed. You have camping gear. We're going to have an open and enclosed trailer. You put all your camping gear in there, label it. It's going to be safe. So every day we're going to wake up and say, okay, we start in Tampa Bay. We're going to, say, just outside of Georgia or whatever. That's our first 400 miles. Here's the hotel we're going to. We'll meet you all there. That's it. And then on your way, we'll have the trucks that won't leave first. The trucks will show up last in case somebody does break down. So the bikes will leave out first. They get to that hotel. We all meet up there. We have a little whatever, soiree, get together. And then in the morning we get up, send the bikes on the way. The trucks leave later. We go to the next stop, which is 400 miles away. So we're going to do 5 days to Sturgis, Buffalo Chip to be exact. We're going to stay 4 days at the Buffalo Chip, go out riding and set up rides like to where, Charlie? We're going to...
Right now, I just noticed everybody says everything's good at Devil's Tower. Everything's good at the Mount Rushmore. You got, of course, you got all the roads out there. You know, one of yours is a favorite road that we haven't got to ride yet.
Which one?
You know, for the monuments and everything else.
Yes. We got Needles Highway.
Needles Highway, there you go.
You're going to do Spearfish Canyon.
Yep.
You want riding, Micah.
Right.
This is a ride. Those rides up
and
there.
And the Wednesday, of course, is your favorite town, No Penny Wednesday.
No Penny
Hewlett,
Wyoming, No
Let me
Penny
put that on
Wednesday.
the calendar.
We're gonna make a
Let me
quick,
get that
we're gonna
one on
make
the
a quick
calendar.
trip up to Montana because Georgia boy's never been to Montana.
So we're going to do a lot of great rides those 4 days, and then we're going to do 5 days back the same way. Probably not the same exact route. We're probably going to go a different route back. But I mean, if you've ever wanted to go to Sturgis with your bike and you want to ride, and you got the 2 weeks, this is it. I mean, literally, it's going to cost you $100 to do it with us, and we're going to try and make some T-shirts. We're going to have a party one of the nights at Buffalo Chip. We're going to go to Wally World or grocery store, get some burgers and dogs and beers, and we're going to have a nice little party up there for that. And then we're going to have the setup, and you know what? It's going to be a lot of fun. Yep. And to go in a group like this, to make sure you have your stuff in a camper or in a trailer so it's safe, to make sure you have a trailer in case you break down. There's no other better way to do this than to be safe.
And of course, if you want your bike hauled up there, Revolution is bringing the bikes up there. They're going to have their semi parked right next to us in our part of the campground. So if you're wanting to fly up or something like that, get a hold of them, and they can ship your bike up.
That's right. In fact, Jim Lynch, Revelation 1, he's on the inside front cover of this month's issue. I don't know if we still have that graphic to pull up, but James Lynch, Revelation 1, if you want to ship your bike and fly up there and then meet him at the Buffalo Chip, you can do that, right?
Yep.
And Buffalo Chip's maybe 20 minutes away from the airport. Not too bad. Maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You fly into Rapid City.
But we're actually talking with him about setting up the last Wednesday at Quaker. Well, it's what we were going to do. Maybe at Burt's now. But the last Wednesday night in July, where you can drop your bike off, and he'll load it up, and then you can fly out there and then or drive and meet him at the Buffalo Chip and get your bike off there.
Now we had Woody on last week. He brought us up to speed on a lot of things. We have had some changes in bands.
Yeah, how about that, Michael? We had Woody. You know what Woody is, by chance?
The owner.
Woody is the owner of a city. He owns Buffalo Chip, the city of Buffalo Chip, South Dakota. He zoomed in and was telling us all the things happening. Pretty cool. Like he talk about having your hands full.
Yep.
But he had ZZ Top all this way until what? Like the day before
The official announcement came yesterday. In fact, right now the lineup, of course, we got most of the new lineup August 7th to start it off. You know, Willie Nelson's out. Lita Ford, our old friend Lita Ford, who's done our expo many times, she's going to be kicking off the show. The next day on the Saturday, Puddle of Mud has come in to take that place. Zach Wild's band Black Label Society will be there the Sunday, August 9th. Then, of course, we got a Rat problem after that.
Yeah.
Rat will be there August 10th. Of course, they have the big resurgence with the commercial.
So, Micah, you're going to hear him say all these bands. So what's cool about this is when you stay at Buffalo Chip, you get your campsite, right? When you get your campsite, you get free concerts. You get to go to every one of these concerts for free.
Oh, wow.
Every night of the week that you're there. Usually, what, 10 days, Charlie?
Yep.
Every night of the week, they put on a big band. And from Kid Rock to ZZ Top to whoever it is, and you go to this big, the big middle, what do they call that?
That's just a concert. It's an amphitheater, yep.
It's the amphitheater, and you just kind of go up there and you jam pack it full, and you have a good time, and it's awesome because you go back to your campground.
We're trying to plan the same thing as well, because we also have a trailer that we pull with the truck behind all of our big rides as well, and that's one of the things we're discussing to go into Sturgis is bringing.
Just call that number and tell them you want to camp with us at the Full Throttle area, and they'll put you there, because we're going to be camped across the street at the Bear. Is it the Bareback or the Sleeping Bear, whatever?
Something like that, yeah.
And it's right there.
What's the total mileage that y'all are doing round trip? Do you know?
It's about 2,200 miles for
so
me.
It's
Yeah.
just a little less than what we're talking about.
But then on the Tuesday, August 11th, a band that played our expo this past year, Buck Cherry, has been signed to do that day. Sadly, Wednesday, they did confirm ZZ Top has postponed until next year's rally.
I saw that. And that was supposed to be on our bike show day.
Yeah, that is the day of our bike show, but they will be back next year, so they just postponed a year, so we haven't got a feeling there. Now, Thursday, August 13th, he did announce the band for that. It is 38 Special from right here in Jacksonville,
I did
Florida.
hear that. 38 Special was playing. Okay, that's nothing
Yes,
bad.
Are
30.
there any whispers of canceling that, Sturgis? Or
No,
are
in fact, they
pushing through?
voted.
They're
It's
pushing
full
through.
bore, yep.
Well, who knows? Well, I guess we're the problem down here.
Yeah.
So the issue.
In fact,
the hot
South
spot.
Dakota's seen a big decline, and so they're good to go. Their governor's 100%.
Are they going to
behind
let
There's
Florida
not many
people in?
people up
I
there,
guess.
so-
You know, now the problem is if we are a hot spot, are they going to let Florida people in and not have us quarantined or whatnot? That's going to be the next issue, guys.
the way the way I understand they're going to have kind of same rules. They're going to ask people to wear a mask.
Well, you know what sucks is we're going to be coming from Florida. They're going to be hating on us. They're going to be like, you Florida people are going to be quarantined because New York's doing it right now. If you go up to New York, you're quarantined for 14 days.
Well, we are quarantined to
And-
Buffalo Chip for 14 days.
Listen, you're right. I'll be quarantined to Buffalo Chip 14 days in our campsite. That'd be
Woody is going to go back to the old days where to keep social distancing, you will be able to bring your motorcycle into the concert area.
okay.
And that's going to cut the concert area down by 50%.
Coolest thing, Micah, what he says by that is you could pull your bike up in the front of the the stage. And when the people get done, people normally turn their bikes on and rev the hell out of their engines,
Nice.
right? They said, I've heard almost every person who's played there says there's nothing like getting done with a song and then just, 500 bikes, wham, wham,
Definitely, yeah, it's got to
wham.
be deafening.
It's awesome.
Well, what he said is bringing your bikes in cuts them down to where to be a 50% capacity because your bikes take up so much room. So each bike takes up the room of
So
6
that's your
people.
social distancing. Your
So
bike.
that's your system. You sit on your bike and watch it, and it's plenty of room. Tony can tell you there's plenty of places to park your bike, watch the show. He's bringing in an extra video screen, so there's going to be 3 big video screens in. Hand sanitizer. So he's doing a lot to make it where you don't have to be right up at the stage anymore.
We're probably going to try and get Woody on one more time before it's all said and done. He gets all his bands together, and we'll talk to him one more time before we head out of here on our way up there and find out all the information he's got, because I'm sure it's a rotating door with him right
changing
now,
almost
too.
daily.
It's changing daily. The bands they're bringing in, the things they got to change. It was cool talking with them, but you could see behind the man there was a lot of speculations and things you got to do and hopefuls, and I just sitting here just having this information hit us 15 minutes before. I mean, you say you're not going to cancel any of your rides, Micah, and stuff like that, which
The only one that would possibly be canceled is going to be the Daytona run, which I think is in 2 weeks, and that's only because we're hitting Johnny's Filling Station in Orlando, Hidden Treasure in, I think, Flagler or Ormond, and then we're doing 3D Saloon in Palatka and Dana's in Wildwood.
What a ride,
So
man.
those
How many miles
are,
is that?
About 350.
Damn, that's like our Sorass run, doing it just on a regular
About
weekend. 350.
350. So it's going to take about 10 hours to do. And just a good loop. So about 45 minutes at each stop, other than lunch. The lunch stop's going to be about an hour and a half at Hidden Treasure. But yeah, it's that right there. I'm going to have to basically just make a decision, a few days before, and see what new rules. As you said 15 minutes ago, they popped up. They could pop up another rule.
Yeah, tomorrow,
Before then, restaurants
before
will be
noon.
completely closed. So as long as the restaurants are not closed, I have no intentions of canceling.
I hate to say it, if we have 4, 5, 7 more days of increases, restaurants are
happen.
going to be follow. It's unfortunate, and I don't want to sit here and be Mr. Negative, because I hate being Mr. Negative, but I'm trying to figure out our answers while we're sitting here, just sitting here talking. All of a sudden now we got to start making different game plans, like the 5 bridge run. We got a 5 bridge run coming up. You want to pull that up here, and we are super excited. July 18th, we're going to do the 5 bridge run. And, it starts at a wing house. I know if you probably can't read that middle text, it's a little different. But it's wing house. It's bar, Bert's, let's see, Green Iguana, Mr. Joe's, those are bars. So, I mean, what are we going to do by the 18th? Are they going to lift it by then? Who knows?
Now, the one thing that I think is going to keep my ride is that I've already called and planned, and the restaurants are actually, they have tables that are stored, and they're separating tables, and they're putting them on. So they're actually going to, before I leave, I'm going to call them, text all the managers, and let them know how many people we have. So they're actually going to pull more tables out if need be. So let's say we have 40 people show up. They're actually going to pull some extra tables out and try to make it and accommodate us. So hopefully, again, that'll work out.
You know what I like about what you're doing, and I've heard you say it multiple times. You rode the ride before you did it.
Correct.
We used to be able to do that and rode the ride before we did them, like the Sorass run and all that. I like that you're putting so much effort into the fact of making a great ride for the people. Like I could see you're out there caring. If people go on that ride, they say they have a good time. You actually give a crap about that, don't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, you don't want people to take a ride and, oh, we missed 4 turns. And like yesterday, we rode, and 2 of the GPS actually made you take a right, and it was only like a little quarter-mile stretch. And then you're at a stop sign trying to cross 19. So with doing the test run yesterday, I realized, well, if we just go a quarter-mile straight to the red light, we don't have to cut through on this little side road, which now has everybody trying to cross traffic. So those are the things that we ironed out yesterday on not totally following the GPS.
Are you are you leading these rides? Are they going to be group rides, or are they going to be like, are you doing a mapping system? Like, I bet there's a great mapping app.
Every big event that I have has a Google link at the bottom of it. So everybody can take that link, copy it, post it from their cell phone, and they're all following the same GPS. as we are. So you don't really have to, if you get lost, all you do is just, you know where the next stop is, you know exactly where you're going. So that's the good part about that as well, keeping people organized. If they get behind, they get stopped by a traffic light, they know where we're going, where we're going to be.
Mike, you got your shit together. What's up, Charlie?
David Moss asked, is the Five Bridge going to be shut? Five Bridge Run going to be shut down if the bars are closed?
I don't know, David. Right now, I mean, like I said, we were sitting here bullshitting, and 5 minutes, 15 minutes before we started here, we just heard that announcement. So, I mean, I don't even know how that affects restaurants. If anybody can help us and make some information on the page and let us know how that affects the restaurants. Also, if anybody from your group on there, Mike, and wants to put the link to your page on there, please put it on below. Tampa Bay area cruisers, right?
Yep.
Now, you're not just cruisers. You're open to a few, what is it? What was the, and a few
ricers.
Ricers?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few
ones that
groups
aren't
we
doing
ride with, and I don't mind. I mean, I've got a sport bike as well, but we just
Are you
don't,
offended by the phrase ricer then?
Am I? No, absolutely not.
I was going to say,
Are you
like,
offended by it?
No, I
I'm
just thought it
not
was
one of those. I'm offended by anything.
Well,
that
when you
doesn't-
put it, and you said put this in a magazine, I said, geez, I'm gonna put ricer. I'm like, should I say sport bike or ricer? I said, whatever, sport bike. We all know what we mean.
We can't comply with everything. I mean,
Listen.
we've got to be who we are, right?
That's right.
And you can't make everybody happy. So we just don't want, a bunch of people, the kids running up, 20-year-olds with their new bike, showing off, catwalking and running into somebody. That's not what we really want. We definitely want anybody to come join us, but we, just know if you do come join us, have a little level of maturity and not, catwalking, power braking, and zooming through the crowd.
One of the cool things when you talk about when you join your page, when you ask to join your page, what you ask them to do, I think that was funny.
So basically, it's just yes, you agree to the terms. One of them is am I in witness protection? Will you post a picture of your bike? Tell people where you're from, because that helps start the conversation. Some people just post, hey, thanks to the group, and then we don't know what kind of bike you ride. And if you put the kind of bike you ride, where you're from, that jogs other people to want to speak to you. Hey, you're from Spring Hill? Hey, I'm from Spring Hill too. Hey, you drive a Warrior? Oh, I drive a Warrior. So, it kind of helps to get people a little more, involved with you as the group grows and
It's
as you
almost
add people.
like accountability, I guess you want to say, because I run a page that has 1,000. I run a page that has probably 100 new people that want to like the page every day. So I'll go through and approve some, but I got to see, do they live in Florida? That's my first statement.
Right.
Okay, I got to see if they live in Florida, because it's called Florida Motorcycle Events.
Correct.
So I don't want somebody from New York joining Florida Motorcycle Events. That's not going to do any justice for the page, number one. Number two, are they motorcycle people? I look at every single one. I'll go to your page. If you don't have something motorcycle in the first second of me looking at your page, I usually say no. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, if you're a biker, you're a biker. It's usually the first thing. There it is. Look at your page right there.
Yep,
that was a cool. Where'd you stop, by the way, to do that burnout?
So about 4 or 5 months ago, I just jumped in with a crowd one day, riding one night.
Bring that back up. That's cool.
And they said, hey, we want to take some pictures of our bikes, and I do professional photography as well. So this place
Yeah, because
where
your
we're at
aperture
right here,
and everything
Yep.
there. I'm sorry, not to throw
right where we're sitting.
I was like, how the hell did you do
I
that?
did a long exposure shot of Tampa Bay one evening, and it had like the crosstown underneath, the long lights, the long streams, the sun setting. And I told the group, I said, hey, I have a great place if y'all want to take a picture, but we kind of park on the side. So that's actually on the crosstown.
Really?
So we actually we've done it probably about 6 times now. Everybody's like, oh man, where'd you get those pictures? I want a picture of my bike. I'm like, I've got the spot for you. So we take some of the riders up there. We park on the side of the crosstown, take a couple of pictures, and we've actually had a couple of police officers pass by and kind of check us out. We're sitting in the emergency
Making sure you're
lane and
okay, right?
just kind of scoping us out, and they keep on going. Nobody's bothered us, and it really does turn out for a really good picture with the Tampa Bay skyline in the background.
I'm going to send Rob a picture right now. Hopefully he can pull this up. And this was cool. You guys snapped it during the Soaked and Sore Ass ride. It was a pretty neat picture
yeah,
down
the
in
Florida
City.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I know he's going to take him a second to pull that up, but it was pretty neat. I never knew there was that big mural that said Florida City
Right.
until it's like you get onto it. Remember, you know where it's at, Charlie? Right by
It's on, what is that, 90 something? So as you're coming out of, it's at the racetrack where the last stop was at the racetrack, you actually make a left right before that racetrack. It's a little 2-lane road, and then you curve around, and it's about a mile or two up on the right-hand side.
We'll see if Rob can, I always like throwing Rob for a loop. Rob's the guy who runs our show, who just bought a motorcycle, by the way, just got a nice Road King from Bert's Barracuda. While we were down there filming, he took that nice bike home. And so I was going to put that picture, Rob, up there too, so you could put yourself on the show if you wanted. But if he could pull that up when he gets a chance, it's pretty cool. It was this burnout right in front of the Florida City sign. Now, you say you don't want people doing burnouts, but yet your 2 pictures are people doing burnouts.
We're doing burnouts.
I'm just saying. I'm just kidding. Look at that. Is that cool? And you kind of block the city because it's welcome to Florida,
right,
which was awesome. I was like, okay, that is a heck of a shot right there.
It is, yeah, it is. That's the same guy that's in the on the banner picture as well. His name's Manny. He's one of our riders. He rides with us all the time. It's a Warrior he's on. I don't know what year.
I was going to say, and what I like about it is that it's a metric cruiser. So it's not a Harley. I mean, not that it doesn't have to be a Harley, or is a Harley, or isn't. That's a metric cruiser doing a burnout in front of a. I thought that was. It kind of shows.
And he was like, let's do a burnout. I want to do a burnout because he's got this tire. He's taking it to the dark side, and he's ready to change back. Because he's riding a lot more, and we're doing a lot of the curves, so he's trying to get rid of the tire, and he's having fun with it. So I said, well, we got to get the wind right. Which way is the wind blowing? And as soon as I said that, the wind came from the south, and I said, go, 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 go. And that's when he started doing the burnout, and the smoke, the angle, everything worked out perfect. It just happened.
I can imagine the people down there with the COVID, next thing seeing all that smoke, thinking the world's ending, right?
Well, it's in a big, giant parking lot, so it was nobody, just us group.
Well, was that on the Soak to Sorass run?
That was on the way back, yes, sir.
Okay, well, nobody ever noticed anyway because they had NASCAR in town that weekend anyway, so they just figured it was coming from the Homestead Speedway.
Don't bring up NASCAR. I don't want to go down that road. By the way, moving along. Not going down the road.
Moving along.
And that's what they did. They moved right along.
If you didn't see, the Bikes, Babes, and Barbecue is going to be postponed. That was made a decision by the Gibtown Bike Fest. So if you haven't seen that yet, that's July 4th. We were going to do a bike show. It was Tattooed Sweethearts was going to do a bikini bike wash and contest. So right now that's been postponed because of the COVID. So be aware that will happen, just not July 4th. And Gibtown, it's at the Gibtown location. What is it? The Showman's Association?
Showman's Association.
So
where they have Gibtown Bike Fest at.
With all this being canceled, why don't we focus on what we can do?
I agree.
Some events, like if all these events are getting canceled, so like a lot of the rides that we're doing, we're just really riding and stopping at parks. So if we can't do these big bike events, why not just some longer rides around the state, just to different parks, different cities, different something, we can still focus. We don't have to sit at home. We don't have to let this keep us down. We can still focus on some stuff that we can do, get us out there still.
Well, remember, Charlie, when this happened, before we were quarantined, they said you could get out and ride a motorcycle. And I went out for a ride with Dan and them. We went up to Leesburg during the Leesburg time, April. So you're talking right in the middle of everything.
You actually on the weekend, Leesburg was supposed to happen.
Leesburg. And man, there were people out riding everywhere. But they were at the gas stations. When you go by every gas station, there must have been 50 to 100 bikes. Social distance apart, just hanging out and riding. Because let's face it, there's nothing more social distancing than riding a motorcycle.
Right.
You can't get within 2-3 feet of either side of you if you're riding. You're enjoying the fresh air, the hot, getting out and doing it. As long as when you stop, you're not, running up and hugging people and just keep your distance, put your masks on. You know what? When this happens, doesn't mean don't ride. It means go do more riding. It means get the bikes, serviced. Get some miles under your belt. Go out and do something. Do a long ride like you guys are doing, Micah, where you go, make a plan. I don't think there's no way they're going to shut down hotels or anything like that. You want to go take a nice long ride, grab a hotel, grab a nice ride back. What's wrong with that?
I'm working on one right now through Central Florida, through the Mine Country, down around Clewiston, back up around.
Okeechobee area? Is that what
Okeechobee, maybe that far down, up 27. 27 is a good ride.
What a great road that is.
Good ride. There's no coverage, with trees or anything, but it is a nice, wide, open ride. set the cruise and go. But with that being said, I think I'm going to look more into, over the next couple of months, doing some longer rides, or maybe even some overnight, maybe down to Everglades City, get a room, do some airboat tours, maybe do
Charlie
some
was just
swamp
down in
buggy
Everglades
tours.
City.
We can do some python hunting, you know. Let's add something to it.
Who was it? Lori Joe you were talking to. Lori
Yeah.
Joe has she does some python hunting. People don't realize.
She's the one who put it. She's the one who put it in my head.
Talk about the pythons. People don't realize how bad it is down in the Everglades.
I just was on the phone yesterday because of her. A friend of mine runs a dive boat charter down in the Fort Lauderdale, and he is actually licensed with the FWC at state and federal, I believe, and he hunts pythons. That's one of his side gigs. So when the boats get canceled due to weather, he goes and hunts pythons. You can hunt them on private property legally. You just can't go on federal or state property.
Is there time for it, or is it always?
There's no,
because
So
it's
they're
invasive
that-
species.
they have
they're an invasive species.
They have become that bad that you could go out and hunt them at any given time.
Absolutely.
We saw one that got across the road from us before I could run over them. I mean, before I could get to them, coming
So
back from Florida
You
City.
could make a job out of hunting pythons and
He
going out and
makes
killing
Yep.
lionfish,
Yes,
basically,
absolutely.
right?
Oh, absolutely. Well, I don't know if you can make a lot of money off the lionfish unless you sell them. The FWC does give you some small kickbacks and incentives, but you probably can't make a living off of it. But you can probably make a living off of the pythons for sure.
You're a diver guy. How bad is the lionfish situation?
So the
from what I heard, it
lionfish
was
is
bad.
the lionfish is pretty tough, but most of it is now moved into deeper water. Because
really?
most of the recreational divers are staying 60 to 90 feet. Within that area, it's pretty under control. My opinion, there may be some areas that are inundated with them. Most of the lionfish have moved into deeper water.
Now, was that another invasive species? Was the lionfish?
Absolutely,
Okay.
they spread like wildfire. So, but yeah, they're.
Well, see what happened with a
there.
lot of that. Of course, when we had Hurricane Andrew, if you remember all the way back there, a lot got loose from the zoo. But a lot of these people brought these snakes in illegally. Oh, look at my beautiful snake. When it got 5 foot long, they went
got
through it
rid
in the
of 'em.
backyard,
Yep.
or took it out into the Everglades.
I'm
and,
not a snake
in
guy.
our
I'm not a
environment,
spider guy.
they,
No.
you know, it just
Negative.
and same for the lionfish. People come, put them in their
I'll come
saltwater
get your
tanks and
snakes
stuff.
if you come get my
I
spiders.
saw a picture. It said it had this big spider in a corner with all these little baby spiders around. It said, "You find this in your bathroom. What do?" I say, "You burn the house down. You go buy another house. That's what you do. You don't even think twice. You're like, if that one spider is there, I'm out. I'm done. Just burn it down."
No spiders.
No, I'm
No
not a
spiders.
spider fan.
Okay.
No, Charlie. Charlie's a
Charlie,
country
do you
guy.
do spiders? 'Cause
Charlie
we
don't
need
care
somebody
about
to come get our
nothing.
spiders.
I'm one. If I see him first, I'm fine with it. You know, I don't.
So we'll call
as long-
Charlie
yeah.
for spiders.
Charlie's the country guy. He'll take out your raccoons.
Yeah,
He'll
that's
come.
dinner right there.
I was
You
gonna
know.
say Charlie ain't scared of much over there. I know that for sure.
So raccoon and some python?
Yeah, that's it. Fire the barbecue up
Some
right there. We're
spiders
ready
and
to
throw
go.
a couple of bats in there for appetizers?
Wait,
Louisiana hot sauce
what
makes
kind of
everything
bat?
taste good. So
So you're into diving too. You have a dive page, is that correct? Why don't you plug your dive page in case anybody wants to jump on
Yeah,
that?
it's called Next Level Dive Club. It's about 4,000 followers. It's about 2 years old. And it is, we do a lot of stuff. We travel internationally, a lot of dive trips here locally as well, over on the East Coast. We do a lot of diving on the East Coast, the Keys, the Bahamas.
Keys and Bahamas got to be great diving. That's got to be the
It's
beautiful.
like swimming in the bathtub. We do a lot of spring dives as well. So if you're into camping, I'm taking a lot of my events from the dive club and just kind of editing them and taking all the dive information out of it and then copying and pasting it
Facebook
to the Tampa Bay Area Cruisers page. And I do huge camping events. Sometimes 40, 50 people show up. Again, none of those are canceled in the future unless the camp resort cancels. So last year, or when this started, we had a couple of events we had to cancel.
Michael, what's the name of the Facebook event group again?
Next Level Dive Club.
Next Level Dive Club. Now have you ever dove? What is it?
There it is. That's the website.
There it is. Pull it
Yeah.
up for you.
The Facebook is better to check out because the website we still work on, but the Facebook page is definitely where all the information is.
Now we were talking how you do cave dives, you do open water dives, you do all that stuff.
Correct.
What is your favorite, cave or open water?
It's changed now because I do photography as well. So I would definitely say if I said you could only do one dive the rest of your life, it would have to be wreck diving.
I've done the Dunedin wreck. Have you done that one?
No, I haven't done the
Really?
diving.
I've done it
No.
when I took my dive classes. Believe it or not, when I came down, I moved from Ohio to Florida. I said, okay, I was terrified of the ocean. I said, what do I need to do to get away from being terrified of the ocean? I'm going to be around it the rest of my life. I said, okay, why don't I just take a dive class? And I took a dive class in college and went and got certified, and it was a lot of fun. We went and dove the Dunedin wrecks and stuff like that, and I was certified. And let me tell you, jumping in, the first time you do it, and you're going to laugh at me because you're going to be like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. The first time you jump into that turquoise abyss, and around here, it's not you jump in it's 20 feet deep and you can see the bottom. You jump in, you can't see nothing.
That's the Gulf.
That's the Gulf. You cannot see past your 10, 20 feet, maybe if you're lucky. So you jump in, and number one, you get off the boat, you can't see land. Okay, so put this all in your mind. You get all geared up, you jump in backwards, all of a sudden you're disorganized, and you're in this turquoise water. I did it in May, so it was still a little chilly. And then all you see is this tow line. You're like, okay, let's go down to the bottom. There's nothing around. Let's just do this. And you're like, then all of a sudden you get I'm claustrophobic, and I was like, my God, I said, what am I doing? But we got down to the bottom. It's funny, up top you can't see the bottom, but on the bottom you can see the top.
Correct.
I don't understand it. Maybe the sun in the background, but
you got to dive the East Coast. Dive the East Coast, dive the Keys. If you dive the wrecks, you jump in the water, you can see the wreck.
Yeah,
it's at 90
better.
feet and you can see the wreck. Your West Coast diving is, I do 90% of my diving on the East Coast.
So I blew a blood vessel first time going down. I didn't clear right, and I filled my mask with blood. Yeah, that was not a fun, and being bloody in the water is just not one of those things.
That probably didn't help any of your
no,
your claustrophobia or panic.
Not at all. And then we're sitting down there, and what do they call them now? Gag groupers, Charlie? What is it? The not Jewfish, they're gag groupers.
Well, gag grouper is the Goliath group.
The Goliath
group are the big ones. The gags are the ones everybody.
And they're very much homebodies.
That Goliath, I was swimming past one of the big windows that they cut out, right?
Thump?
And all of a sudden you see, we're like going the same distance. Like if here was a wall and there was a kid, we were same time. I look over and this thing is bigger than me, and I'm like, okay, I'm done doing this. I want to go back up to the boat and get out of here.
They're not worried about you.
No.
I've swam past a porthole before, and literally looked, and there's like a mouth right there, and they're used to the divers, but they don't want to be around you. Some of them are friendly, but
it's just it's I don't know. You're in their territory. You're not in your territory, and they're bigger than you. And then you sit there and go, one pop of the mouth, I'm done.
They can suck you right if they want.
Oh, there's no doubt. It's like, and it sounds like a cannon going off, doesn't it?
When they do that little thump, and it's letting you know that they're not wanting you around.
Charlie, you ever dive?
No, not that kind of dive. We've dove
Charlie's
in.
Taking a dive.
Yeah.
We've dove in after dropping our fishing pole or something like that in the lake. But other than that,
it's
hey, that was a
definitely
$20 fishing pole we got, man, from the Walmart. What do you expect us to do?
It's an experience. If you've never dove before, it's certainly not like, anything you've ever done, because the pressure. What is it? 10 feet or what's a fathom? The first
30 feet.
30 feet,
yeah.
and you're
each
talking.
atmosphere is 30 feet.
The pressure changes is
right. Well,
crazy.
The first 30 feet is where most of your changes. After that, it actually, even though you're going deeper, your body changes gradually. But your first 30 feet is where your most changes occur.
Have you done a nitrox dive? Is it what they call it?
Nitrox is just a higher mix. So yeah, nitrox certified is pretty much. Most people, you should get open water and nitrox when you get certified.
See, y'all went down in the water. I just flew over it. So I went up. Y'all went down.
What's your deepest dive?
Well, I've been a little deeper than that, but 140 is one of my deepest dives for just actual stand down. 183 is pretty much.
And then you come back up in stages on that, right?
Yeah. So, well, it also depends on how long you've stayed down. I mean, if you go to 140 for a few minutes, you don't necessarily have any deco. But again, there's so many different ways to discuss it and sort it out. We'd be here for another 4 hours.
Well, it depends on the time frame you're there, how long it took for you to go down.
You're down at 140 for 5 minutes, and then you don't really have any deco. You stand there for 15 minutes. You're probably going to have some deco.
Yeah, because I saw where one they dropped down. They called it like a ladder or something. It was like a rope type bridge, and every so many feet, the divers as they come back, they go to that next rope line. They'd have to stay there for so long.
Just hang out there.
If you're doing some intense stage dives or some really, really deep dives with rebreathers and staging bottles and wrecks and stuff like that, you're going to have some serious deco time. And I am ADD, so I do not like doing.
You don't like hanging out somewhere for a few minutes?
I have no interest at all whatsoever of just hanging there, at 60 feet for 30 minutes, just breathing. No, I have no interest in that.
Both your pages, if people want to, of course, course, for the motorcycle rides and everything, that's pretty open and pretty understandable.
Right.
It asks you what you know, again, there's a couple questions about joining it. And then for your dive one, if you want to do it and you're not dive certified or anything like that, can people join that page?
Oh
or
yeah,
is there
so
something, how
we
can
do
they-
more than that. So we also do, which I haven't posted, we also do snowboard trips. We do an annual snowboarding trip. So last time, I think we had 17 people go on our snowboarding trip
That's
last
in
year.
Florida, right? That trip?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we go snowboarding in the Keys.
Yeah, go somewhere.
So we went to Denver, went to Sugar Mountain in the Carolinas. We've been to Vermont. So we do more than just, we do kayaking trips, we do fossil hunting trips.
So you're more like an adventurer almost. You're almost like a group that kind of books all over the place, not just set things just for diving or just
Well,
for
and
motorcycles.
I actually created a poll about 6 months ago, and I asked a group, it might have been a little longer than that, I said, you know, we're doing a lot more events than just diving. Do you want to see me separate that and do like an adventure club and then do this strictly diving, or keep it the way it is? And everybody, the consensus, I think about 80% said keep it the way it is, because they like that. We do the paintball events, we do a lot of stuff, scalloping
You're
trips.
taking the whole live life full throttle to the extreme. I love it.
Full throttle. I don't know how to do anything halfway.
You know what we're going to do? We're going to take a quick break. We're going to play Attorney Fran Hosh commercial. What we're going to do is come back and we're going to talk about the new magazine that hit in the streets. The July issue is up. We're going to have that, but we're going to play a quick commercial. We're going to give us 3 minutes to catch our breaths, and we'll be right back, everybody.
I decided to pursue a career in law because it gives me an opportunity to help people. I enjoy being a passionate advocate for my clients, and I'm so grateful that being a lawyer also allows me to make a positive impact on our community. When a client chooses us to represent them, they're entrusting us with a huge responsibility. It's our goal to exceed their expectations with our personalized service and to help them to achieve the best possible recovery to compensate them for their injuries.
Having been through a serious accident myself, I understand how instantly isolated someone can feel during the immediate aftermath. We try to shed light on a client's situation so that they don't feel so isolated, knowing that they have us on their side, working towards a resolution on their behalf. That's where we come in, and that's what the firm did for me as well. We fight to set clients on the right track so that they can try to get back to the life they had prior to the accident.
A fellow was texting and driving and came across the line, hit me head on. Just a horrific accident. I literally thought I was going to die. You know, I've dealt with thousands of wrecks in my life, being on the fire department, and never thought I would be in that situation. Fran is a big sponsor of a lot of the restaurant events for bikers and things like that. So I knew that she had a lot of experience in wrecks and things. So she was the first one I thought of to call. She's a bulldog. They found out things that I didn't think were possible to find out. When you're laying in a hospital bed and you're hurting, I understand it. It's scary, but if you have Fran Hosh on your side, it should alleviate a lot of your worries. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
They have their own lives to take care of, whether it's family, a job, or all the above. We endeavor to shield clients from the stressors of an injury claim so that they can try to focus on what is truly important.
The culture of this firm is based on charity, compassion, and I like to surround myself with team members that are going to treat a client like they're part of our family. Community is number one to me. We do a food drive every year. If it's a cancer benefit, a food benefit, something for the animals, something for veterans, we love to be involved in that. The bikers are such a charitable group of people, and they have the biggest hearts. I love being part of that community. This can be devastating to have an accident, and it's just a priority of mine to make sure they get the best medical care possible to make a full recovery.
one more time too, if possible.
Awesome, awesome. What a great commercial. Attorney Fran Hosh is amazing with everything she does for the motorcycle community and beyond. I mean, it's just, we love Attorney Fran Hosh. And Rhett, he never gets he never gets the love he deserves. Rhett's always doing a lot of work, and they're just amazing. If you guys are in a motorcycle accident or car accident, God forbid, and you need an attorney, call Attorney Fran Hosh. She's there to help. She's helped me a ton. She's helped everybody that we know. I mean, that's what she does for a living, and let's help her. Them. If you need them, that's what they're there for. Your shirt again. Did you say it's reflective, by the way?
Yes. I've seen a lot of shirts out there, and they're just like one color, and they look kind of simple, but I wanted to do something a little different. So we just had these made, and I don't know if you can really see it, but it's reflective.
The gray is that reflective, right?
And the black. So the gray is reflective as well, and the black, the yellow, the gold is not, and then the headlight is just like a silver thing. So, and then we also have the front. The front's going to be the same way over on the chest, but it is not reflective. She actually made a mistake and did not do the front reflective. But yeah, these are the shirts that we're going to have.
Well, I'm definitely going to be buying a couple of shirts for myself and Charlie and Georgia Boy. We're all talking about getting a shirt. We definitely want to do that. Same thing we did when West Coast Florida Riders come out. We bought hats from them. You could do hats too, or no?
Yeah, so I'll do hats, tumblers, koozies. If you look at the Dive Club, you'll see all the marketing and the merch I have there. I've got tumblers, hats, shirts, towels. I've got a ton of stuff with the Dive Club. So I anticipate putting a lot more effort into this as well, and making it something actually just as awesome as West Coast Florida Riders. They are a big group, and they do a lot of rides as well.
They do a lot of rides. They just went up, did the Tail of the Dragon. Good
they
people.
Did. I saw that.
Do you know them at all or no?
Just a couple of them, not really.
I have to introduce you to Lee and Chris. They're good people. They do a lot of fun stuff. They have a good time, and they do a lot of rides. They're out of the Sarasota area, though.
Correct.
Well, Tony, we got 5 minutes. Let's talk about stuff we know is going to happen, because we got in July. We know we got one big event that we're planning to happen right here in the studio.
That's right. Oh, I forgot. We should touch on that. Thanks, Charlie, for planning that. Our Christmas in July virtual telethon. Keep this up for a second. So what we're going to do is we are raising money for St. Joseph's Children's Hospital Foundation. In the studio where we're at right now, Friday, July 24th, it's going to be a 2-hour show from noon to 2. Now, we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff, Charlie. We're going to put up a Christmas tree. We're going to be reading 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. I'm not sure who's going to do that. Maybe we'll have my dad do that with his scratchy voice.
I hear Santa Claus is going to make a summertime appearance here.
We got our skinny Santa doing a summertime appearance. We got.
Yeah, he has lost a lot of weight. He's you know.
It's the COVID. The COVID.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's been in the
COVID
house.
and he's diabetic, so he has to watch his weight. So his weight kind of fluctuates, kids. So when you see him, don't panic.
We're going to do funny Christmas movie skits. We're going to do eggnog drinking contest. We're going to have a tree lighting, virtual gift exchange, Christmas jokes.
The gingerbread house.
The gingerbread house making
building contest. Yep.
I think what we got to do is, if anybody wants to join in for the gingerbread house making contest, we're going to have you in studio. What do you think? Maybe 4 or 5 people? I'd say 5 at the max. We're going to set you up around a table, and you're going to have, you know, probably 20, 30 minutes to make the coolest house you can out of gingerbread. So we're going to buy the kits, and you got to make them. And then what we'll do is we'll auction them off, or we'll get people to vote on whoever makes the best gingerbread house, and that person's going to win something.
Now, can you bring your own props?
I would imagine.
You have to stick with the kit, because you know this could go a lot of different ways.
I will have a kit available if you don't bring props, but if you want to bring props to add, so we could do that. So I was asking Micah earlier, I said, have you ever built a gingerbread house? He goes, I'm sure I have. I said, maybe you could join with us on the 24th and be in our gingerbread house making contest. I think he said sure, right?
It's on the schedule already.
I love it. So we're going to have fun. It's going to be a lot of different stuff.
Who knows? Maybe Cousin Eddie will make an appearance.
You know what?
Are you doing any raffles during it, or how are you to raise money, or how's it structured exactly?
Right now we're working on the structure of it, but it's going to have a link. If you go to online and you see that it's called the Christmas in July Virtual Telethon, look it up on Facebook. There is a link. We have our goal of $3,000 that St. Joseph's Children's Hospital set for us to make. And if you go and search us online in the event information, there's a link to go pay for it, and we're going to be running that the whole time. You can bring donations here, cash donations, to the studio. We'll have a big check that we could do a presentation with, right? I think St. Joseph's has a big dry erase check, so if you want to make a presentation in your name, we can do that. You could donate to the online itself. We'll be able to track that as it goes along. So we'll have a big poster calendar on the wall that we'll be filling in with. It's probably going to be like a candy cane. So when we hit that 3,000, every few minutes, if we get a donation, we'll fill it up until we get to the 3,000 mark. So that is going to be, again, a lot of fun. It's going to be Christmas on steroids for us. We're going to be dressed up. We're going to have.
We already have our first.
Oh, yeah, we got
You
costumes.
didn't tell me this.
We have our
This
first
is
entrance
not
already in the
on.
gingerbread house.
Who's that?
Stacy Jones Kapani. It's Koppany.
Okay.
The gentleman said my wife wants to be in the gingerbread contest, so it looks like Gabor, G-A-R-B.
Gabor, yeah.
Yeah, Gabor. So yes, she's in. Just tell her
We'll
be
have
here,
to get
ready to go. We'll
I'll
get
put
the information to her.
Message me on our page when you're done, and I'll make sure you know where to come. So we'll do the gingerbread house making contest. Oh yeah, Rhett, who Fran has his husband, has
He might build a whole house.
he has an affinity for costumes. Let's put it this way.
He loves it.
And he's probably got a whole storage unit full of costumes, and a lot of them are Christmas. So we're going to ask to borrow some of that. Maybe we get
We need
Brian
an elf.
here.
We need an elf costume.
Oh, believe me, they
definitely
got
gotta be an
elf
elf
I
costume.
insist on the elf costume.
Okay, we could do the elf costume. I think we're going to have maybe do a.
Now, our Santa, who is in another part of the studio right now, he wants a different kind of Santa's helper.
Our Santa's going to be still summertime
Yep,
Santa, so we're
yep,
still going to
but
have
he
a
wants a
summertime
different kind of
Santa.
Are there
helper
different
elf.
levels? Like as people donate, are there any giveaways or any incentives to anything like that?
I like your questions, and I don't have answers to them yet.
Okay,
So I just
all right.
kind of started this, and the idea is to raise money for St. Joseph Children's Hospital. So I know Bert's was talking about giving us some riders courses and some oil changes and stuff like that we can give away. We
I'll
can
bring
maybe,
some shirts and
we
some,
can give
some
shirts.
stuff we can, give away as well.
We'll bring some shirts from Full Throttle Magazine as well. We'll get some goodies.
Yeah,
maybe
sure.
we can make some big prize for the biggest donator or something like that.
Yeah, so if there's any business owners out there watching and you want to, get some props for your business, bring us some gift cards or something like that. And
gift cards, or if you want to make a cash donation, you could bring it to the studio, and we'll do a nice big check presentation in your name to St. Joseph Children's Hospital for the Christmas in July, because of course we usually do our toy run, and it's usually with the Tampa Yankees.
Yep.
So we usually do that with the Yankees, where we leave from Tampa Harley, we drop toys off at the hospital, and then we go ride on the field for the Tampa Yankees. That's a pretty cool ride, isn't it, Micah?
Yeah, that sounds pretty neat.
But this year, of course, with COVID, we can't, and it's getting out of hand again. So we're going to have to change that up. So that's why we come up with the virtual telethon. So we're going to be having a lot of fun with that. Charlie, what is something you got in mind for it?
I don't know. You talked about the Tampa Tarpons. Maybe we can get in touch with them, and even though we can't go in the field, maybe they can give some hats or something.
I didn't know
We're
we
out
were
of
that
time.
late. We got to say bye.
5 seconds. 4.
That's it. Say bye
3.
to everybody. Take us out, Micah.
Thanks for having us on, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.